What's up, everybody? This is an episode of Scam Hunter with Sam and Hunter, and today we're going to be talking about a multi-level marketing scheme by the name of Optavia. Some of you may have heard of it. Hopefully, none of you have bought into it for reasons that we will go into right now. Hunter, would you like to give us a rundown? What is Optavia?
Well, it's one of your run-of-the-mill multi-level marketing schemes focused around weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
They
And how does it work?
Well, they try to say that you'll get a lifelong transformation, capitalized.
One healthy
Trademark.
habit at a time. Yeah, so Optavia is basically it's multi-level marketing. It's the whole concept that you recruit somebody underneath you to sell their products, and the way they get away with it, and the way that it's not a pyramid scheme, is because there actually are products involved. But we're going to focus more on the products themselves and how ridiculously priced some of them are. So scroll down a little bit. Look at those tips that they give you.
You should drink one glass of extra of water a day.
Something I think like we should make you aware of is that everything we're talking about is readily available on their website. So it's not like we're having to dig this crap up. It's there and they're advertising it to you. So their main program, the kind of thing that they advertise the most, is this idea of optimal health. And they have an optimal health 5-in-1 program. Where's that on the website, Hunter?
That is right here.
The optimal health. So the first step, it's like eat 6 small meals per day, and ultimately it's a meal replacement program. So you buy into their program, and they send you meal replacements, stuff that you can eat instead of your normal food, and that's going to help you lose weight.
They don't want you to eat small meals that you create. They want you to eat their small meals.
Right. And I think there's something really important in that, because when they get to determine what you're eating on a regular basis, they can basically set the price, because instead of just paying for the food, which is, for the record, and we'll get into it, ridiculously overpriced, they're charging you for the program. So they can tell you that you can eat these fuelings, and by eating these ridiculously overpriced fuelings, you'll lose weight. Hunter, why don't you pull up the price of like a 30-day supply of Optavia's Optimal Health 5-in-1 plan?
Well, click on this, and it's $365, right? But it's important to know, don't forget to add 5 additional boxes of fueling. This is not an actual 30-day supply. This is a lie.
So you've got a peanut butter and chocolate chip bar, creamy chocolate shake, crisp bar, strawberry shake, peanut butter crisp bar. 90% of the things that they're sending you in the mail are things that you would eat as a snack and not as an actual meal. I think maybe somewhere down the line, okay, you've got mashed potatoes. No, I'm sorry, it's roasted garlic creamy smashed potatoes. Apparently mashed potatoes is trademarked and they can't use that name. And then you get chicken flavored and vegetable noodle soup. So you get maybe 2 or 3 actual entrees, and the rest of this is just stuff you would either eat for breakfast or for a snack. So it's not actually food that you're going to want to eat for every single meal. And on top of that, you have to buy 5 fuelings just to get a 30-day supply. So this is the base price of every 30 days. You have to spend this money to get a bunch of desserts, a bunch of snacks, a couple little entrees that you might enjoy, but honestly are probably crap versions of the actual food.
And they're also very small.
And they're also very small, exactly. So let's get into the actual boxes of fuelings, because that's where it really starts to shine through, like how much of a ripoff this food actually is. Here's a great example. This is olive oil and sea salt popcorn, naturally flavored, box in parentheses, for $10.95. And if you scroll down, we can see exactly how much popcorn.
We get 7 servings though for $10.95.
Okay, yeah, 7 servings for $10.95 of this olive oil and sea salt popcorn. 1 serving of this popcorn is 12 grams of popcorn. And so these numbers may not stand out to you, because it's hard to kind of like conceptualize how much popcorn that is and how much servings, how many servings this is and how much it costs. But we have pulled up an Amazon page for a box of Pop Secret popcorn.
And this is movie theater butter, so you're getting a little bit more flavor with this one too.
Yeah, so I mean that's honestly it almost goes without saying. Whatever you buy from Amazon, it's going to taste like so much better because it's the actual thing instead of the crappy version that Optavia is peddling.
And you see, so according to Pop Secret, a serving size is 25 grams, which is over double what Optavia is recommending that you eat in a serving. And also, if you look at the calories per that serving, it's 130. But we go back to the Optavia popcorn, and it's 70 per half. So you're also getting, if you were to take a Pop Secret serving, divide that in half, you'd be eating less calories than you would of the Optavia popcorn.
It's kind of ridiculous, honestly, because they're advertising this food as like healthy alternatives, and they're planning out your food regimen. They send you the food, you eat it, and you lose weight. But at the end of the day, the servings they're giving you are basically just half of what you would get from a normal product, and it's not even that much healthier. Like there's nothing specifically about this popcorn that makes it that much healthier. Go back to the Amazon page if you would. Because here's where it gets really interesting to me. So look at how many servings there are in this box of Pop Secret.
About
Servings
98.
per bag, about 3. Servings per box, 98 servings.
And also the price. It's the same price, almost.
Yeah. So literally for $11, you are getting from Optavia 7 servings of 12 grams each. That's 84 grams of popcorns for $11. If you buy a box of Pop Secret, which is really not even that much more calories than what they're peddling at Optavia, you get 98 servings in the box times 25 grams. So I mean, it's incredible to me. Like literally, you get orders of magnitude more food by buying the actual products as opposed to buying Optavia's fuelings.
You get more, and it's cheaper, and all it takes, the only difference is that you have to control yourself. And that's an important part of losing weight anyway.
And I think this is something that anybody who thinks about it, like you understand that meal replacements are not sustainable. Like you can pay the money, this incredibly insane amount of money, for as long as you want. But at the end of the day, once you get all that weight off, you're going to be used to eating these meal replacements instead of actually making healthy choices for you. But at the end of the day, it's about portion control. So it's not the fact that it's a diet program, because there are some diet programs that work. Even like Weight Watchers, the whole purpose of Weight Watchers is to get you to control your caloric intake, but you're still eating the food that you want to eat, and you're buying the food that is cheap, and that is the food that you're going to be buying anyway, as opposed to buying this crap from Optavia. Look at the cereal, because the cereal to me is the one that really stands out. So this is a box of Essential Red Berry Crunchy O's cereal, naturally flavored box. You get 7 servings once again, because apparently that's like their standardized amount of servings. And it costs $21.45.
Double what the popcorn did for the same amount of servings.
Right. And so, this is like a breakfast meal or whatever, but let's look at the nutrition facts. So each serving is a bag of cereal, and each bag contains 30 grams of cereal. So 30 times 7, you get 210 grams of cereal for $21. A box of Fruit Loops pulled up.
For $4.79, you get...
So the serving size is basically the same. It's 29 grams. It's 30, 29, 30 grams. That's the difference. It's a 1 gram difference. And then per container, you get 25 servings of Fruit Loops in a box that cost how much?
$4.79.
So literally for like less than a quarter of the price that you would be paying for a box of Optavia cereal that contains 7 servings, you're getting 25 servings in a box of Fruit Loops. And what's the calories in this box of Fruit Loops?
So per serving, it's 110.
Okay, and then how much is in the Optavia?
The Optavia is 100.
Wow. So a 10 calorie difference in between the Optavia and the Fruit Loops. So obviously this is so much more healthy. And people would point to the fact that, like, oh, if you look at the the nutrition, it's got like more vitamins and minerals and things like that. But at the end of the day, like, health is important, right? And it's important that you get your nutrition. But is it worth paying $21 for a single box of cereal just to get those
And
vitamins and minerals when you can work them into your diet in other
and
ways?
most people aren't here on Optavia to become athletes. They care about losing weight and the calories. And pound for pound, Optavia does not offer such a big difference in the caloric intake per serving than store-bought, cheap, run-of-the-mill foods.
What you're paying $21 for a box of cereal for is for Optavia. It looks like it should be pronounced Optavia, but it's Optavia, and that's why they put freaking Opta in bold, so you'll say Optavia instead of Optavia. But Optavia, what they're selling to you is their people determining exactly how much you should eat. So they'll put this much cereal in a serving or this much popcorn in a bag, and they'll say only eat this. And so basically you're paying all this money for them to control your portion sizes. Let's talk about purposeful hydration. Is that good to you?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine with me.
I'll just preface this. Purposeful hydration, when I heard about this, it sounded like a joke. The way it's this product they sell, and it's all about keeping their customers hydrated. Introducing Optavia Purposeful Hydration, another healthy habit done with purpose.
There's one good quote in here. I'll have to find it where, they wrote down making hydration second nature, and if hydration is second nature to you, you probably aren't alive.
The way they're framing this is as if like this product is going to keep you hydrated instead of just drinking normal water, right? Basically what it is, and they don't really advertise this because I think they're almost ashamed of it. But basically what this is in each box you have little packets of stuff to mix in with a water bottle or whatever, which amounts to Crystal Light. So it's basically Crystal Light that they're peddling and calling it purposeful hydration. But here's the best part. For a single box with 30 servings, right? That's what it says, 30 servings. It costs $39.95. Look at the Amazon page for Crystal Light, Hunter.
Right here. Here's this is 44 packets, sorry, for $7. There's nothing special about it really, except for vitamin C. It has 560% of your daily dose of vitamin C. But you look over at Crystal Light, and it says there's 60 milligrams of caffeine per packet.
Where the scam comes in and where the ripoff comes in with Optavia is the way they frame their products. They advertising it as something essential to your health. Obviously, hydration is essential to your health. They're making it as if this product will help you be more hydrated than just drinking plain water. And I think that's where it starts to become deceptive, really. It's deceptive in the way they frame it. It's deceptive in the way they market it. This is all outside of the fact that it's a multi-level marketing scheme.
Right. We haven't even gotten into that yet.
This is where it starts to get a little bit more ethically disingenuous. So right off the bat, I love this name because health coach implies that the person who's giving you this advice and selling you products, just some qualifications that allows them to be a health coach for Optavia. But that's absolutely not the case. Anybody who wants to buy into this and decide to spend their own money and sell this product can be a health coach regardless of their medical qualifications.
So they basically give you a whole bunch of flowery words of why you should become a health coach. Like right here, Optavia coaches are the lifeblood of our program and are one of the biggest differences we offer.
Yeah, so it's really funny. I mean, this is like the same kind of language that you'll get with any kind of MLM where they recruit people. And Optavia makes no guarantee of financial success, and that's smart because very little people actually find financial success from this. Because just to get started, they make you buy an Optavia business kit, which is a pretty standard procedure, right? But they charge you $200 for a kit that contains ultimately brochures and advertisements for what you're actually going to be using.
But you get free access to your own personalized Optavia website for 12 months. Free access that you have to pay $200 for.
Basically, you're paying $200 for the privilege of selling their products.
But you
Right.
also get a Slinky notepad.
Oh, you get Well, so you get a Slinky notepad. So that's, I mean, that alone is worth probably $200. So
I'd say 250 on a good day.
200. Yeah. So actually, you're getting a discount, y'all. So you should go out and buy Optavia
Business kits.
Coach business kits today. In order to continue to sell Optavia products, every year you have to pay a $100 subscription fee, which entitles you nothing more than the privilege to continue selling Optavia products. Per law, they have to provide income statements, which shows you the breakdown of who's making what and what percentage of their customer base makes what off of selling their products. So I think we have that pulled up, because right off the bat, you see 29.79%. So basically 30% of people who sell their products make absolutely nothing.
And the greatest part about that is that they have to spend 13, a median 13, average 17 months in the business in order to make nothing.
And this is not like they're just coming out at a net, $0 profit. They're actually losing money, because these people, they're making no earnings and they still have to buy the business kits. They still have to be a part of this and pay the subscription every year in order to sell these products. It says you have to be an Optavia coach to be on this chart, and as an Optavia coach, you have to be bought into the system. Yeah, so they're not just not making anything; they're actually in the process of losing money. And if you continue to look at the rest of the chart, it doesn't really get much better. This is annual income, by the way. So between 1 penny and $100 is 11%. Between $100 and $250 annual is 10%. So we're only 3 tiers in, and we're already covering 50% of everyone who sells Optavia products.
Right, and most of these people are on Optavia themselves too. And this,
Yeah.
this 50% can't even sustain their Optavia subscriptions.
So if you continue going down the chart, it's like the numbers get smaller and smaller, which is to be expected. But even towards the bottom of the chart, there's absolutely no way that this could ever be a replacement for an actual job. And that's the way that they continue to advertise it. I mean, it's absolutely it's a ripoff, just like all MLMs. But to me, Optavia stands out because it's dealing with people's health. It's dealing with people's wallets, especially in terms of the prices of the products they're selling. And for the people that actually invest in the business, they're not making any return.
Except for this amount right here.
0.15%.
Which
exactly.
We're about to get into that 0.15% here in a little bit. This is a little part that I wanted to talk about regarding the legality of MLMs like Optavia. So, like right here, this is their DSA Code of Ethics, and they talk about how, like, the definition of an illegal pyramid is based off of Amway, which Amway is the famous one where they're basically moving money around. They're moving money to the top, and the people at the bottom didn't get anything. But they just moved it around in a clever way that made it look like everyone was profiting off of it, whenever nobody really was. But the way they get around the legislation that prevents that from happening is by selling products down the pyramid. So the people up top are still getting all of the money, but the people down low are being pacified through the use of substandard products.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it's the way that these companies can continue to exist and skirt around laws that actually prevent actual pyramid schemes, where basically these are pyramid schemes, but since you're actually getting a product, you can't say anything. But in the case of Optavia and what I would assume to be many of these MLMs, the products that you're buying are incredibly overpriced compared to what you would be able to get from literally anywhere else. I think now we can move into an interesting tidbit, which is definitely the worst thing that Optavia engages in, which is direct advertisement to healthcare professionals. And I just want to emphasize that point. This is literally on their website where they are advertising to healthcare professionals. So there's a link at the bottom of the page that talks about health coaches that says this is specifically for healthcare professionals. So you open up this page and you immediately get greeted with this header, creating health for your patients and your practice. And you'll see this like throughout all their literature and all their promotional materials when they're advertising to doctors. It's all about creating health. you get this born from Medifast. Optavia is a brand you can partner with confidently. So they're trying to get doctors to partner with their brand and sell their product. And right off the bat, you get into the scummy, shady practices. Because in this quote right here to the left, it says Optavia offers you an opportunity to transform your practice while creating more autonomy and potential revenue. And this is the phrase: free from the constraints of managed care in ICD-10. So I'll be honest, I didn't really know what the ICD-10 was originally because I just assumed it was medical lingo. So I did some looking into it. And from my understanding, and this is coming from someone, who really doesn't have any experience with this. So full disclosure, I could be wrong, but from what I found, the ICD-10 is effectively actual diseases or diagnoses that doctors can offer to their patients. So when a doctor has to offer a prescription or diagnoses a patient, it has to be in alignment with the ICD-10. So what it seems to me is that Optavia is suggesting to doctors that selling their products will allow them to break free from the constraints of managed care and ICD-10, as if the things that are keeping doctors ethical and doing their actual jobs is a constraint on them, and that instead they should sell Optavia products and make more revenue for their practice, as if doctors need more revenue in their practices.
And going back to it, these are the 0.15% that make
Right.
over $200,000 because as we'll see later, they can use their practice as a way of giving Optavia legitimacy.
Right, because if you think about it in terms of medical practices, um, when someone goes to their doctor, if their doctor has bought into this, then and the doctor tells them like, "Oh, I think you should get on Optavia because I think it would be good for you." Then most patients are going to take their doctor's words for it. They're going to say, "Okay, if this is something," and they're going to go out and buy this product. Now, this is not to say that like doctors don't advertise pharmaceuticals. Like they advertise drugs, surely, but there is nothing about Optavia that is actually medical. At the very least, pharmaceuticals are they treat a specific disease and they are recognized by the FDA, whereas this is literally just meal replacements that, as we have seen, are incredibly overpriced for what they are. There's nothing particularly medical about this entire program. All right, so the next part of this is just fantastic. See, at the bottom of the page where they're advertising the doctors, they've got these little testimonials from various doctors who apparently have been selling these products. And our favorite is this guy right here, Mark Nelson, MD. So I'll read his quote, and this will kind of kick it off. He says, "In this time of upheaval and uncertainty in medicine, our greatest challenge and calling is to offer health for our patients while creating health for our practice." There's that key word, creating health.
Capital.
This is the capital health. Capital health. This is the opportunity that Optavia offers. It is time to move beyond reacting to and managing disease, which is literally the job of a doctor. It is time to move medicine into the third era, the area of creating capital C, health, capital H, for our patients. Like this just screams shill, right? Like it's obvious that he is being paid by Optavia to advertise this, like and talk about this program as if it's the best thing to happen to modern medicine since penicillin. So we wanted to do a little bit more research into Mark Nelson and kind of his whole deal. So Hunter, I think you have some stuff about
Yep.
Mark Nelson.
All I did was Google Dr. Nelson MD, and I found his LinkedIn page. And on his LinkedIn page, he had articles that he had written on LinkedIn that I thought were particularly interesting. Like this one: "Are healthier patients a conflict of interest?" And basically, to sum up this entire article, he basically creates a doctor who he uses as a straw man to elaborate on all of his arguments on why it would be a good idea to use a program like Optavia in your practice.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me because this is literally coming from a board certified cardiologist. I mean, this man is an actual doctor. And here he is writing an article where he's setting up this fake doctor and arguing to him about how using Optavia is actually ethical.
And I thought this quote from the article is particularly telling. His fake doctor says that he doesn't want to sell meal replacements to what are heroic Dr. Mark Nelson replies, "We actually don't sell anything, nor is there inventory. The meal replacements are only one part of a comprehensive weight loss and healthy lifestyle program, and they are simply the tools we use to achieve healthier outcomes, just as use medications and other things as tools, as a part of your medical practice. We don't sell medications, we don't sell meal replacements, except for that's exactly what he does."
It's so clear that he is a paid sponsor of Optavia, and it becomes even more clear when you look at what we also discovered when we looked up Mark Nelson, MD. So it's called Eagle Health Network. This is a company that, if you look on his LinkedIn page, he is associated with this health network, and you go on the website, and it doesn't really say exactly what it's supporting. It kind of gives you these generic quotes, but what's really interesting is it's hitting all the key points that Optavia does on their website. It's using the key terminology. It's pushing you in the direction of Optavia, but it never actually says Optavia. I mean, it's so clear if you spend any time looking at it that it's actually just an advertisement for Optavia, but he never comes out and says it because this guy knows that what he's doing is unethical. He knows that as a doctor, he shouldn't be like shilling this product. So to just the average person, you go on here like, okay, this guy is, he's for real. He's advertising something that's supposed to create health for his patients. If you actually look at the fine print here, right beneath this picture, it says in a clinical study, the group on the optimal weight 5 and 1 plan. So, I mean, it's using the exact same language as Optavia. It is the Optavia program.
I found the study that this optimal weight 5-1 program was used, and it never says optimal 5-1 weight program. It's a generic study.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so there's a lot of things they do to kind of like massage the narrative, make it look like their program is supported by science and actual doctors when ultimately he is selling their products. And something tells me that on that chart of incomes statements, he's at the top. He's one of the guys up here making $200,000 plus. Because why else would an actual cardiologist leave a legitimate practice and decide to sell this as his job if he was not getting paid directly by Optavia? Which is just, it just raises so many ethical questions. But it doesn't really seem like something that Optavia is concerned with.
I mean, you just look at the main page of Eagle Health Network. Personal health, this is basically him explaining the 5-1 health program, just like Optavia. Health coaches, same thing, trying to recruit people, just random people. It doesn't say professionals, just people to be health coaches. And then health professionals, just like Optavia, where it's trying to recruit health professionals as well. It's basically, it's like his own miniature Optavia.
If you contacted Mark Nelson, he would direct you directly to Optavia. Like there's no doubt in my mind that's where this rabbit trail would end. Another thing that we found from Mark Nelson, which is actually on Optavia's YouTube page, their official YouTube page, they have a video of Mark Nelson, and this is just my favorite. So we're gonna watch this video real quick. And Take Shape for Life. That Take Shape for Life is what Optavia was called before they rebranded a few years ago.
Fueled by Medifast.
My name is Dr. Mark Nelson. I'm a board-certified cardiologist, and a few years ago, I challenged the notion that the best way I could help my patients was to react to disease. So I stopped doing that.
Right
because
there.
I learned about Take Shape for Life.
Like that phrase right there just so perfectly encapsulates what he's talking about. And I love it. He says, I challenge the notion that treating my patients, like responding to disease was the best way to treat my patients. Like that's literally your job as a doctor.
Right. And that's not to say that that's all that doctors do, too. Like, there's reasons why we have annual checkups, physical, stuff like that, right? It's to make sure that nothing is going wrong, and if there is, to correct it before it becomes a significant disease.
Right.
Through actual medical means, not a scam.
Right. Yeah. So reacting to disease is part of your job, but what definitely isn't part is peddling Optavia. Yeah, so I think it's pretty clear that at the end of the day, Optavia is they're clearly an MLM. Their whole system relies on recruiting people and getting them to sell products, which, as we've seen through the chart, These people are not actually making that much money. They're definitely not making enough money to justify buying these products, buying the business kit, and then paying the $100 a year subscription service just for the privilege of selling the products. But more than just being an MLM, Optavia is ripping people off by selling these food fuelings that are just so expensive compared to the actual products, and really not even that much more healthy. And so I think the takeaway from this is, and I think Hunter agrees with me, that if you're trying to lose weight, this is really not the way to go.
No, you should actually seek legitimate help from a legitimate health professional.
From anyone other than Mark Nelson.
Right. Or if they at any point try to offer you Optavia, run away.
There might be somebody out there who's saying, like, I took Optavia and I lost weight because of it. I consider it a success. But is it really worth it? At the end of the day, is it worth it to spend this much money and support a company that has these kinds of ethically questionable practices? So that's it. That's all we have to say about Optavia. This was the first episode and a series, hopefully, if we can keep this going, with Scam Hunter, with Sam and Hunter. So if you liked the video, smash that MF and like button.
And also, don't forget, drink 1 extra glass of water a day.
Every single day, 1 extra glass of water.